Hello and welcome to our Xcode introductory video. In this video I'm going to go over just a few of the basics of Xcode, of how you actually can create a new C++ project, how you can compile it, how you can run it, how you can view the output, just a few of the basics so that if you're completely new to Xcode and writing C++ programs with Xcode, you'll have some sort of idea. So I already have Xcode started up. I'm using Xcode 3.2. I think Xcode 3, starting with Xcode 3, it has this welcome window, basically. So there's a quick little link here to create a new Xcode project, or you can go up to the File, New Project. I'm going to go up to File, New Project since I'm there. And then this will give you kind of the different templates that are available for you to create a program. So on the left side, you'll see all the different templates broken down by category. There's iPhone OS, some user templates, and then Mac OS 10 templates. So I have application selected. And then right up above here, you'll see 4 different options. We can make a Cocoa app, we can make a Cocoa Apple script application, a Quartz Composer app, or a command line tool. And so for the most part in this class, we'll be creating command line tools. So make sure that's selected. And then from there, we can actually specify the different types. We can create a straight up C app, we can do a C++, or we can do some Objective-C with different default setups. Make sure that we have C++ standard C++ selected, and then we click choose, and it's going to ask us where we want to save these files. I'm going to go ahead and save them in my documents folder. You can save them wherever you would like to. Just give the project a name. Call this demo project, and then click save. Alright, that will close off most of the windows. I will go ahead and close this in the back just so it's not there. And I'm going to click this green maximize button to expand our window. Alright, so this is the basic shell for Xcode. You could have a different setting. Let's go ahead and just check that real quick. If you go up to Xcode Preferences, I'm actually running with the default layout, so if you've changed that, your window setup might be a little bit different than mine. But this is the default setup. Right here, the group of files, and then when you have one of these nodes selected, it lists all the files that are in there. And so we can see that we have the object file in here, we have a code file, and then we have our C++ code file. Alright, so this is the default template that you get with Xcode. As you can see, it looks pretty familiar to our first introductory C++ program. I just added the comments, the multi-line comments to our original program so that we can see what those look like. Alright, so on the left, we're going to see the project. We're going to see the node source. That's going to contain all of our source. We'll see some documentation, which is what that demo project was. I think this is PostScript. I'll go ahead and close that. So to close, I did Command Shift W, or you can come up here and say Close File. All right, and then products is actually going to list the final executable that's going to get created. So if we go ahead and go up to Build menu, we can see that we have a few different results, or a few different options for us. The first one we want to look at is actually just go ahead, build. So when you build, it's going to say compiling sources down in the corner, and then in the bottom left corner it says build succeeded. Well, it'd be nice if we actually saw a little bit of information on what actually just happened there. So if we go back up to the build menu, we can click on build results, and this is going to give you the summary of what just transpired. You can see, oh, build succeeded, no issues. Great. Now, if I actually want to run this program, I get there's a couple options I can do. So I'm going to close this build results. One, I can click this build and run. I can come up here to run and say run. Or I can go to the build menu and do build and run. So I'm just going to go ahead and do build and run. It's already built. It's going to notice that it's built. I get these prompts the first time I run a program with Xcode because I'm not an admin. Alright. Wow, that looked like nothing just happened. So in order to see what just happened, we can go up to build and go build results. We're like, oh, no, that's not what we're looking for. So what we actually want to do is go to run, and we want to show the console. Okay, I'm going to make this window a little bit bigger. So the console shows a lot of different information that's going on. This is basically just starting up the console, letting us know that GDB, which is our debugger, is configured in a certain way. And then we see the program gets run, which is the special command that you give it in GDB to actually run your program. And we can see, hey, there's hello world. Wonderful. Now if we get too much information on here, you can clear the log, and then if we do build and run again, you'll see that this happens each time. Let's see. Let's go ahead and close the debugger console. What else should we show you? So what I like to do is actually expand my code window. And so there's a couple ways we can do that. We can grab this handle right here, drag it all the way up, and that'll give us more code space. There's also a keystroke for it. If you hold down Command-Shift-E, we'll maximize that window as well. And alright, so if we go over to the left, I'll briefly talk about this, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. There's this targets folder, and so, or targets node rather, and then this has the actual executable. So if we right click, we can add new custom executables or new files, new targets. But in here, if we expand this, this will actually tell you everything that's being compiled for this current target. And so in here we can see main.cpp. We can see what libraries are being linked with this, and we can also see what's happening here. So this is just copying our documentation over. I'll collapse all of those. And the last thing I'm going to show you is how you actually go about adding a new file to your project. So there's a couple different ways. We can go up to the File menu, do New File, or you can right click in your project, click Add, and click File. And this is going to bring up a template chooser, essentially. Instead of projects this time, we're going to get file templates. So we want to make sure that we're over here on the left under Mac OS X. We want to click C, C++, click a new C++ file, click Next, and then we can name our file. So we'll call it foo.cpp. And now you also notice that there's a checkbox under here that's going to asks us to also create a foo.h file. A .h file are .header files, and we'll talk more about those later. But we can go ahead and keep the defaults. And if we had multiple projects in our solution over here, we could actually choose which project to add it to. And then we can also choose which targets that we want this file compiled to. We only have one of each, so there's not really a lot of choices for us. So we'll go ahead and click Finish. And we'll notice that in our source group right here, we'll see foo.h and foo.cpp both got added to the project. So we can go ahead and go look at foo.cpp, and this is just the default template. Evidently the default says Apple owns your code. So beware. But yeah, that's about all I wanted to do for this video. That gives you a brief overview of Xcode, how to add files into it, how to build, and how to look at the results. Getting the results is the most trickiest part, where you click build and run, and nothing happened. Remember, come up to run, click console, and then you can see what actually was happening. Alright, thanks.